is, will he start Šeško? Which I really hope he does, because they need to be direct. They have been direct. They've been the most direct team in the Premier League this season. They've had the most direct attacks leading to chances. Unfortunately, they haven't scored one yet. But Bryan Mbeumo has gone close on a few occasions. We had a couple against Burnley and we had a couple against Arsenal where they could have scored goals. And so that's what they're going to do. So first of all, address that selection thing. I think Šeško has to play because it's just a physicality thing. So when it was Man City Tottenham a couple of weeks ago, Tottenham, Richarlison, ball up to him, flick-ons, ball over the top, space in behind, okay? Šeško playing there gives them that option straight away. I don't think if Cunha is not fit, which we expect, I don't think you want to move Bryan Mbeumo off that side. That is where they're going.
That's his position.
Exactly.
That's his best position.
Don't make two changes for the sake of one, okay? The other thing is, obviously then, if Mount is not available and Cunha's not available, do you then have to move Amad Diallo into this position here? So you've got other options. If Dallow's not fit at wing back, you've got Mazraoui to come in there, as I mentioned, and then you've got probably Amad Diallo playing on the left of the three. He's capable of doing that, and don't forget the game at the Etihad last year where Amad Diallo has turned the game on its head and made Matheus Nunes look a little bit of a fool in that right back position previously. So there's that option, okay? So that's the sort of selection issues, whether Bruno's here or Bruno's here, whether you go Casemiro, Ugarte. I would like to think they'll move there. But what I've noticed over the last few weeks and the first few weeks of the season, straight away, right, this is one for our graphics genius, Aaron. You've got a diamond here on this side. Do you remember we talked about PSG doing it? You form a diamond. So you've got triangles all over the place. Yep. Same here. That's the idea in a 3-4-3 setup, is to try and give yourself an extra option on both sides of the field, because obviously your midfield players are flexible in that formation. But what United have been doing really interestingly this season is overloading the left side. Okay. So they're moving, Dorgu is pushing right up. They've still got their inverted forward here. They're getting Bruno Fernandes to come over onto this side, and they're moving the centre back over, which naturally moves players in. So you've got 5 here instead of 4. And then you think, well, what difference does that make really? That is what it makes. That is the difference it makes. And we saw it against Arsenal, where he isolates the defender. And look, if the strikers are comfortable in this area here and Šeško holds it up well enough, the ball comes back to somebody in midfield and then it goes in there to attack this space. And City have been really susceptible to balls over the top so far. Twice goals have come from that. And so when I looked at their attack zones at Man United so far this season, they're pretty neutral, pretty even. However,
Arsenal, where we see who are sort of, or have been focused
very
down
on the left
side.
They are on paper very neutral, but actually that's not the case, because they're getting more of the ball on the left, but the more of the attacks are coming down the right hand side. So from a numbers game perspective, it's just evening up. But yeah, that's the idea. And what I expect to see is that can Casemiro or Ugarte in that role there attract some players towards him under pressure to free Bruno to then free Mbeumo. And that will be the move that they want to get, so that, look, sometimes Rayan Aït-Nouri, if this is him, might go wandering up here. And sometimes Ake is going to be left 1v1 v Mbeumo. So that's something to lick your lips about if you're Man United in attack.
And to be fair, Dino, as well, from the very beginning of the season and in subsequent episodes, not only of Team Talk, but in Tactics Exposed, looking back on the big games as well, you have been saying that this is the season of oofball. I don't think you said it quite like that, but that we've almost passed ourselves to death in the Premier League now. And the new sort of the next new thing is to kind of go back to the early 90s again and play lots more direct football, because it cuts out a lot of the sort of losing the ball in the danger areas in the middle. And
the speed at which games are going from back to front, it's like tennis with the way that you go. And that's not to downplay the quality, because these are not hoofs, as you put it. They're long passes, and they're designed for a specific reason. And City have been more direct, and since February or March time, when we did the Marmoush episode on how it's going to change Pep's tactics, that has been the case. And now Manchester United doing it as well. But again, get Mbeumo in that area. Happy days.
First Manchester derby of the season. Ruben Amorim's side picked up 4 points when the two sides met last season, but former midfielder Paul Scholes believes that the Manchester United head coach needs positive results to build confidence in the team.
More hopeful than confident, I think. I like the way he goes about it. I like the way he speaks. Possibly a little bit too honest at times. He's still building, I think. He's brought new players into the club, especially attacking players, which is sometimes difficult to adjust to Premier League. But results need to be better if people are going to have confidence in him. There's no doubt about that. The first 3 games, okay, they won 1, drawn 1, lost 1. Top 8, I think you'd probably take at this point. Is top 8 good enough for Man United? No, probably not. But you just don't see him being any better than that at this point.
Well, Scholes, who was talking ahead of launching a new podcast with former teammate Nicky Butt, scored 7 times in the derby, including a dramatic 93rd minute winner in 2010. He believes that Amorim's biggest decision on Sunday is actually at the other end of the pitch.
I haven't really seen much of the new lad. Obviously, Onana's gone off to Turkey. I think he's gone. So it'd be interesting to see what happens Sunday with the derby. Of course, does the new lad come on, or does he stick with the lad who's played the last few games? I do actually think it'd be tough for a new lad to go into that game at first, but you have to start somewhere. He needs confidence given to him straight away, and he's coming into a team that do concede chances, so it's going to be difficult for him. But again, it's a platform for him to show how good he is.
Some breaking news in the last few minutes. Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana has joined Trabzonspor on loan for the duration of this season, subject to international clearance and registration. The 29-year-old Cameroon international has made 102 appearances for United since signing from Inter Milan in July 2023. The move has been completed ahead of the Turkish transfer window, which closes on Friday. Confirmation this evening, Andre Onana has joined Trabzonspor on loan for the remainder of the season, and we understand that Manchester United won't be paying any of his wages. 100% of those wages will be paid by Trabzonspor.
Manchester derby is here, and this weekend's clash feels more unpredictable than ever. Manchester City, usually the unstoppable force, are limping into the game with a growing injury list. Phil Foden, Stones, Guardiola, and others all doubts. Pep still has Erling Haaland fit and firing, but with their midfield depth cut short, City suddenly look more vulnerable. On the other side, Manchester United arrive with problems of their own. Lisandro Martinez is out, doubts linger over Mason Mount and Matheus Cunha, and defensive mistakes still haunt their game. Yet United may sniff an opportunity. Less pressure, more freedom, and the chance to silence the Etihad crowd. City remain favorites, but the injury storm has opened a door. Could this be the moment United spring a derby upset?